From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Max Darrow and welcome to our Saturday showcase. We begin today with businesses that are expanding despite ongoing challenges. In a moment, Marin Ayub will introduce us to a family in wine country that is hoping to keep its legacy alive. But first, to Len Ramirez, and the owner of a South Bay burger joint who is standing firm on prices even as the cost of beef increases.
On Park Avenue in San Jose, just across from Hoover Middle School, the smell of grilled burgers and onions fills the air, and a line stretches out the door. 107. That's owner Jim Angelopoulos. He's hands-on, working the prep station at what is now his second Campus Burgers location. And to mark the recent grand opening, he planned to give away 1,000 burgers to celebrate with the community. But when the line didn't stop, neither did he.
Saturday, we actually gave away 1,500 cheeseburgers. We thought we were going to give away about 1,000, but the customers kept on coming, so we kept on grilling cheeseburgers.
And the crowds are still coming. His claim to fame? The $1.99 smash burger, fresh off the grill with grilled onions, part of a simple menu that Jim says keeps prices low.
The $1.90 burger is tough. It's not like we don't really are highly profitable at it. So it is there to draw people in, obviously.
How do you do it? How do you do the $1.99 burger?
They order them by the dozens. So we sell a box of 12 for about $23. So it's like a pizza box. Instead of pizza, come and have a burger. Thank you.
Customers say prices are one thing, but it has to deliver on quality and taste to be a good value.
You're dealing with good quality beef here. It's very fresh, tastes very fresh, and then also the fries are obviously very fresh. And where else, who does that at that price? I don't know of anyone.
Angelopoulos grew up just blocks from here in San Jose's Rose Garden neighborhood and even went to Hoover Middle School himself.
My parents immigrated from Greece in 1968 to the Rose Garden area. So this is like coming back home. It's crazy.
With his concept taking off, Jim's already looking at expanding to locations in Santa Cruz and Berkeley, and may even franchising in the future. And Jim says whatever happens to beef prices, he'll keep offering the $1.99 burger. It's what he says will keep him grounded as he grows beyond his hometown.
I don't want to change the price. It's tempting sometimes to go a little higher, but I just refuse to do it. I think that's why people come.
And that could be a lesson he learned right here in his old neighborhood.
Many family businesses are getting squeezed out of wine country as larger companies snap up more of the market. But there's at least one Napa Valley winery that seems to be bucking that trend. Here's Marin Ayub.
In Napa Valley, time is measured in harvests and in the families who've stayed rooted through change. Founded in 1968, Trefethen Family Vineyards is one of the few remaining independently owned wineries in the valley. And Lorenzo Trefethen, a third-generation leader of the family dynasty, says keeping the legacy alive is no easy feat.
Preservation takes work. Just because we're preserving something doesn't mean we're not scrambling to keep it that way. And it's been interesting to watch the Napa Valley change.
According to the Napa Valley Vintners Trade Group, fewer than 1/3 of the wineries in Napa today are still owned by the founding family. And the Trefethen tribe, though consistently committed to quality and sustainability, have felt the hit as consumer behavior changes.
There have been times in the last year or so where I've wondered, man, are we going to make it? And the idea that this legacy might end has been very personally terrifying, but also motivating. If there wasn't something to preserve here, I don't think I'd be so invested in it.
And that preservation is not just about their storied, award-winning wines. It's also about the community they serve and the family traditions they're determined to keep alive. John Trefethen, the oldest living patriarch of the vineyard, says raising his children on the land made it more than a workplace. It became the backdrop of their childhood.
Lorenzo and Haley grew up in this winery, playing hide and seek between the barrels. They grew into this.
For the Trefethens, the vineyard is not just where they work. It's where they've lived, laughed, and grown together.
It's beautiful, and it's as wonderful as it was over 50 years ago, and I'm pleased to be able to say that.
According to 2023 Nielsen data, U.S. wine consumption has been declining as more consumers explore alternative and non-alcoholic beverages. Even still, daughter Haley Trefethen believes the enduring community their parents have built is what will maintain the strength of the winery.
I think it's really incredible, the community that our parents have built. I mean, I think that was one of the reasons that I knew it wasn't if I would come back to work at the family winery, it was a win.
And as Lorenzo shares, the true secret ingredient at Trefethen is not just in the bottle. It's their unwavering commitment to ethical practices, both in caring for their staff and in stewarding the land as sustainably as possible.
Taking care of the land, taking care of our people as well, is something that's really, really important to us, making this a great place to work. All of that really comes into the final product.
It's the kind of product that's now expanding to key cultural tastemakers throughout the Bay Area. That includes the likes of NFL icon Vernon Davis.
My favorite thing to do is to share what we make with the world. And see people connect over a glass of Trefethen is really why I do what I do.
Because in Napa Valley, time is measured not just in harvests, but in generations nurturing land, legacy, and roots unbreakable.
A nice story there. First Alert meteorologist Zoe Mintz joins us now. And Zoe, I was going to do a coast day with my dad the other day, but it was so foggy and gross out that we decided to pivot and go to Napa instead. And it was like 85 degrees. It was fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad pivot to make.
No.
If any time that you head to the coast and you're, it's a little too chilly, like today probably is going to be, I would suggest doing what you did. Head up to Napa, maybe head up to Sonoma, enjoy the warmer weather, because a lot of the Bay Area is going to be significantly cooler and breezier than what we were yesterday, especially along our coastal communities. You're really feeling that fog, that marine layer. In fact, you're feeling it so much that it's actually drizzling out there. You're accumulating rainfall from the Santa Cruz Mountains over to Half Moon Bay. Pacifica, one of the big winners this morning with 0.07 inches of rain. But even Glen Park in South San Francisco, 0.05 inches of rain. We'll take whatever we can get because moisture pushes back our wildfire threats. And it's officially wildfire season, and we'll take all of the moisture that we can get this time of year. The moisture is likely going to stick around throughout the early afternoon hours across our inland communities, and likely going to be seeing that cloud coverage over the Oakland hills all day long. And it's going to be staying stubborn and tight along our coastal communities once again, and that's keeping our temperatures sitting in the mid-60s. But it's our inland communities that are definitely going to be feeling the much bigger cool down today compared to yesterday. Inland East Bay sitting in the low 80s. The rest of our inland communities in the 70s. Enjoy the comfortable heat while you can, because I'll let you know when a warm-up will arrive coming up in my full forecast. Max, back to you.
Thank you for that, Zoe. Coming up after the break, a new push to keep students safe in Oakland so they can concentrate on learning. We'll meet the new member of the school district's leadership team tasked with ensuring safety on every campus. It is back to school season in the Bay Area. In a moment, Suji Nam will explain why some parents in San Francisco say they're cautiously optimistic about this new academic year. But first to Kara St. Cyr, and the man with a newly created job in Oakland's school district, the executive director for safety.
This week is a major milestone for Nelson Alegria.
This is day 7.
He's stepping in as the first executive director of safety for the Oakland Unified School District.
The great thing about this role, and even though there are new things kind of across the district, is that safety has always been a really big priority.
A veteran in school safety and emergency preparedness, Alegria will be tasked with managing security staff and assessing safety risks. But if you ask him, social justice is at the center of the job.
There is a clear correlation between school prison pipeline and its effect on race.
Alegria's role is an extension of the George Floyd resolution implemented back in 2020. It removed police presence from schools in an attempt to lower arrests and stop violence against Black and brown students. This year, ICE raids are another added layer.
We know it's been a top of mind for families last year from the feedback I've gotten from administrators.
Alegria says law enforcement isn't allowed on school sites outside of emergencies, but staff is still training for potential interactions with ICE.
It is a concern anytime there are law enforcement on campuses.
Zach Norris, a parent of 2 daughters at Oakland schools, says he's encouraged by Alegria's position, but still has concerns.
What we're seeing in terms of like children being taken from their parents, parents being taken from their children is of a huge concern. And it's of concern in the Black community as well.
Alegria says he's working to include community in any actions he takes.
Our students have a right to attend school, and we continuously work on keeping our students safe.
An ongoing challenge. Alegria says he's up for the job.
Students in the San Francisco Unified School District will head back to class on Monday. As Suji Nam shows us, families are looking forward with a turbulent year behind them.
Emily Diayora has 3 children in the San Francisco School District. So back-to-school preps have become second nature.
Our elementary school has a new incoming assistant principal, which we're actually really excited about.
Diayora is a part of the SF Parent Coalition, a nonprofit organization of about 10,000 parents that recently pushed for the district to implement a new math curriculum this year.
We really believe that parents are stakeholders that should be at the table with the district and the Board of Education.
Diayora adds that budget concerns are top of mind for many families preparing to send their kids back to class.
I think that the current superintendent is really intent on fixing things that were broken in the past. Nobody's perfect, and I know that the district is still missing staffing in a lot of key positions, and so it'll be interesting to see how they fill those roles.
District Superintendent Maria Sue says the district is on its way to cutting the $114 million needed to balance the district's budget, while avoiding closing or consolidating schools and keeping all educators on staff. The district's central office, which handles administrative needs, was heavily impacted.
We had to separate with almost 500 positions. Of those 500 positions, 350 of them were actual people because those positions were filled. And that means that there'll be maybe a delay in response when teachers or schools are asking for support from central office.
But Sue reassures parents that despite these cuts, it should not impact education inside the classroom.
On day 1, you will have a certificated and qualified educator in your child's classroom.
Meanwhile, for Diayora, she says she wants more transparency with the district.
One of the big issues we're working on is communication and transparency, mainly around where we are on budget implementation and how that's going and how close we are to getting out from underneath state oversight.
Diayora knows it could be an uphill battle for the district this year, but is optimistic that she, along with other SF-USD families, will walk the walk together with district leaders.
7:15 on this Saturday morning. After the break, long before rideshare companies existed, people were already hitching rides with strangers. How commuters are hoping to revive a convenient way of traveling to and from the city. A program to help drivers beat traffic and toll expenses is back. Casual Carpool allows strangers to meet up and ride together across the Bay Bridge. The practice came to a stop during the pandemic, but as Amanda Harry shows us, it's rolling once again.
A makeshift chalk sign lets people know Casual Carpool will be revived on Tuesday. Camille Bermudez has been working to relaunch the Bay Area tradition, one that she relied on before the pandemic halted it.
The ease of it, the flexibility of it, and honestly the cost effectiveness of it.
Bermudez's first experience with Casual Carpool was as a teenager, but it started long before she ever got in line.
35 plus years ago, about maybe even longer, which is great.
Bermudez felt this was the perfect time to bring it back, as more companies are requiring people to return to the office. She herself has to be back in the office 5 days a week starting September 1st. So she reached out to the community online.
We started back on June 8th, starting with a survey and really using social media to get the word out there.
The response was strong, and she found this location in the Grand Lake neighborhood on the corner of Lake Park Avenue and Lakeshore Avenue was where people most wanted to use the service. After Tuesday, it will run Monday through Friday during carpool hours. The system is simple. Drivers stop by, pick up the first 2 people in line, enough to qualify for discounted tolls, and take the Bay Bridge to San Francisco, dropping off the people at the 400 block of Howard Street.
Drivers get the benefit of shorter commute, flexible timing as far as when they leave their home, as well as we do encourage a monetary contribution for the drivers to kind of help with that expense of the toll.
Bermudez says she used to use the system as both a driver and a passenger, and she always had a positive experience.
I actually ended up meeting an alumni from my high school, so St. Ignatius. I met somebody in the car and we had started talking, are you from the Bay Area? Are you a native? And they ended up saying, hey, I went to SI, and I also lit up.
And some other people have made friends or even more significant relationships.
Very excitingly, we do have somebody who got married through Casual Carpool, and they are still together.
But she says most rides are uneventful, quiet, and an easy way to get into the city. She's hopeful that after launching with this one stop, they'll be able to expand to the 20+ locations that used to exist pre-pandemic.
Really excited to see this coming back. And then once we've got this location up and running, the plan is to get the Sacramento Street and the 64th and Christie Street in Emeryville locations up and operating within a month after this one has been operating. And then again, plan is to get all 20 back August 2026.
Gosh, you know when she said somebody got married because of Casual Carpool, I can see it now. I can envision this rom-com, a beautiful setting of the Bay Area, Casual Carpool. They meet in the car, and it's a love story ever since. I love it. We should make a movie.
I was going to say, I think you should start writing that screenplay right now.
You can do the rest of the show. I'm going to just leave.
I'm
going to go start writing, Zoe.
I'll be the meteorologist for it. I'll give you forecasts for any outdoor shoots that you do, but any outdoor shoots that anyone's doing today or just outdoor activities. It's a foggy start to our morning. Make sure you are aware it's not a beautiful sunrise for most of us here in the Bay Area, at least below the fog and below the clouds. You are noticing a little bit of clearing in places like San Jose. The fog and the cloud coverage not going to stick around forever for them, but closer to the coast, that marine layer is going to hold on tight throughout most of the afternoon. If you're planning on making today a beach day, don't expect to see all too much sunshine. It's a warm start to our morning, though. Temperatures right now upper 50s to low 60s all across the Bay Area. It is comfortable out there. Those wind gusts anywhere from 25 to 35 miles an hour. It's a little bit higher than yesterday, coming in directly from that onshore direction and ushering in a little bit more of those cooler conditions. So you'll definitely notice more cloud coverage, cooler and breezier conditions today. The cloud coverage is likely going to stick around even across our inland areas throughout the afternoon hours. Oakland Hills likely going to be seeing that cloud coverage along with the coastal communities. It's going to keep those temperatures a degree or two cooler than yesterday along the coast. But for this time of year, it's very seasonable. Mid to lower 60s along our coastal communities, upper 60s in San Francisco, upper 70s to even low 80s across our North Bay communities and across the inland East Bay, and 70s down into the Santa Clara Valley. You'll definitely notice a bit more heat across the northern parts of the Bay Area compared to the south, so keep that in mind for any outdoor plans you'll have. Temperatures this afternoon again within a couple of degrees of normal, although inland areas 5 to 15 degrees below average. And especially compared to the heat that we felt yesterday, these winds coming in from that onshore direction, anywhere from 25 to 35 miles an hour, it is definitely going to be a hold on to your hat situation, especially if you live closer to our North Bay and inland East Bay communities. High temperatures tomorrow afternoon are going to be very similar to today, maybe a degree or two cooler though across our North Bay. That was going to be in the 80s this afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon, you'll be back into the 70s. You might still see a low 80 across our inland East Bay communities. Down into the Santa Clara Valley, still sitting in the mid 70s, while the coast will be in the mid to lower 60s. A degree or two cooler even along the coastal communities tomorrow with the stronger onshore winds and the more cloud coverage that's going to stick around. So that really depends if you have any outdoor plans, how you should be dressing. Maybe you're heading to Diana Ross at Stern Grove. highs are only going to be 62 degrees. So make sure you dress in layers. But if you're heading farther inland, maybe you're going to art in the park, you're going to be in the mid-70s, where you're going to want to make sure you have sunglasses, sunscreen, drink a lot of water, not necessarily extreme heat, comfortable heat for this time of year, but is all location dependent and dependent on what your plans are. As we step out over the next 6 to 10 days, though, you'll definitely notice more of a bullseye of heat that's going to be placed across the western half of the United States. So yes, this weekend is below average and cooler, but get ready for above average heat over the next 6 to 10 days. So enjoy the cooler conditions while you can. Let's take a look at exactly what we're expecting over the next several days as well, because the area of low pressure that's bringing us the onshore winds is going to stick around at least through this weekend, continuing to bring us those below average conditions. Those winds will shift to a more southerly direction early this week, allowing our temperatures to gradually warm up. And then by Wednesday, Thursday of next week, we'll really be feeling those warmer temperatures as high pressure is going to begin to build overhead. Just look at our 7-day forecast and you can see those warmer temperatures getting back into the mid to upper 90s across our inland East Bay communities. So enjoy the upper 70s to low 80s today, along with those windier and cloudier conditions while they last, because that's comfortable heat for any activities outdoors. You should enjoy the cloudier and cooler conditions, because even for areas around the bay, upper 70s to 80s returning to the forecast. Coastal communities not warming up too much, but get ready for more sunshine that's going to arrive into next week. Back to you, Max.
Thank you for that, Zoe. Coming up after the break, keeping housing affordable in Marin County. The effort to make sure families who built ships during World War II and stay in a historic community well into the future.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Welcome back to our Saturday Showcase. I'm Max Darrow. Affordable housing, of course, is in short supply in the Bay Area and California. In a moment, Kenny Choi will show you how the city of Napa is really trying to help people who are affected by cuts in federal funding. But first to John Ramos and an effort to restore a historic African-American community in Marin County without displacing anybody.
Marin City has both a past and a future, and the people living here want to make sure they're not left out of either one. Today's housing shortage is nothing compared to Marin during World War II. America was suddenly thrust into battle, and a huge shipbuilding operation called Marin Ship went up seemingly overnight. And on August 13th, the first Greyhound buses began arriving with African American workers from the Deep South.
This is my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, Willie and Ollie Hector.
Connie Hector's in-laws worked at the shipyards and are memorialized on new banners unveiled on this day, honoring the legacy of the workers, many of whom were able to escape for the first time the oppression of the Jim Crow South.
And so coming to California enabled them to feel like there was something better.
The housing that was built in Marin City was considered a model for the rest of the country. The 2-story townhouses and 5-story towers became home for a new generation of Black Marin residents. David Hector was born in the development known as Golden Gate Village.
People would like to be able to stay here. Most of the people are the second and third generations that live in Marin City. And I think that it would be important to be able to maintain that history.
The problem is that many of the apartments in Golden Gate have deteriorated over time. Promises were made for years without delivery, but now there is hope. Funding has been announced to completely renovate every housing unit in the development. That would mean a lot for Angela Pate, who has a lot of memories in her apartment, along with the urn holding her father's ashes.
Christmas Eve, he left us, but I've got him right here to keep us safe.
Once work begins, groups of residents will be moved to temporary housing while the units are gutted and rebuilt.
It's kind of something that I'm looking forward to doing, but at the same time, having to move 17 years worth of stuff out for 3 months and moving it back in. But when you move back in, it's going to be something that no one's never lived in. And that's the greatest feeling of all. Look, I'm 60 years old. I'm going to do this. Look, I'm going to do this. Yes! I'm going to do cartwheels. No, it's going to be it's going to be awesome.
The renovation won't be cheap. $85 million to renovate 88 existing units. It would have been cheaper to demolish everything and start fresh. But while some may question spending nearly $1 million each on affordable housing units, those who see this as more than an apartment complex would disagree.
Because it's history. I mean, you know, a lot of our monuments throughout, the nation, you don't just knock them down, or you shouldn't just knock them down. You know what I mean? They stand for a purpose, right?
And you consider this a monument?
Yes, I do. And I'm not from here, but I fell in love with the history of Marin City.
The buildings in Marin City now stand for a higher purpose, a monument to people seeking a better life. And it's hard to put a price tag on that.
That woman's enthusiasm sure was contagious. Dozens of families in Napa are at risk of losing their homes because of reductions in federal funding. Kenny Choi introduces us now to two women inside and outside of local governments, both working to lend a helping hand.
Esmeralda Gill and her team at Puertas Abiertas, a long-standing nonprofit serving the Latino community in Napa Valley, see the daily need of low-income residents looking for help.
If they don't have housing, they don't have a lot of food security, they don't have health security, so there is a lot of need for there to be assistance, especially for our agricultural workers.
She says federal, county, and city grants can often be the difference in a family staying housed or ending up on the streets. It's a critical time for many who work in agriculture and impact Napa's economy.
Harvest is coming up, and if they don't feel safe, they don't feel secure, then there's a lot of different effects that it can have on our community.
Molly Radigan is deputy city manager of Napa, who oversees its housing division. In response to recent federal cuts to emergency housing vouchers, the City Council and Housing Authority approved a new rental assistance program using up to $250,000 a year from local housing dollars to help up to 15 households.
What we're trying to do is create a stopgap while we look for longer-term solutions and maintain households in their existing housing.
She says the city has implemented programs using federal dollars and has seen its homeless rate in the last 2 years drop by almost 36%.
Some federal programs are coming to an end and some federal regulations are changing, and those regulations and those changes put these households at risk.
The city says 49 Napa households rely on the emergency vouchers that are ending, and that 18 additional families depend on other programs at risk. Housing advocates like Gill are deeply concerned.
If there's more cuts, then more families are going to be without housing, and it's just going to cause a lot more issues on them, a lot more strain on their emotional, mental well-being, and if they have kids, it causes another level of concern too.
The new program will help families already receiving aid, but not new applicants.
7:35 on this Saturday morning. First Alert meteorologist Zoe Mintz joins us now. And Zoe, we obviously are far past the summer solstice, but we're still enjoying beautiful evenings.
Yes.
But the sunlight's starting to disappear.
It's getting shorter and shorter. You probably don't really notice it quite yet, but we're actually feeling our last 8 p.m. sunset in San Francisco.
We'll see our last one tonight?
Tonight, yeah.
Wow.
It's the last one of the year, our last 8 p.m. sunset in San Francisco. So enjoy all of the daylight that it has to offer, because we're already pre-7 p.m. sunsets in San Jose and Livermore. And the next time that San Jose and Livermore will be seeing post-8 p.m. sunsets won't be until May 4th of next year. San Francisco, our next 8 p.m. sunset will be of May 1st of next year. Santa Rosa, you still have a couple more days to enjoy post-8 p.m. sunsets. And then next year, you'll be seeing those 8 p.m. sunsets April 29th. So actually, Santa Rosa, our North Bay communities, enjoy some of the longest days of the year and some of the most sunlight out of any part of the Bay Area. So head up north if you want to enjoy all of the sunshine that today has to offer, even though you'll be seeing quite a lot of fog elsewhere. It's really our North Bay communities that are actually going to be some of the warmest weather today, not because they're seeing a 2-minute later sunset, but because they aren't necessarily feeling the impacts of a frontal boundary quite yet. Those temperatures are going to be in the upper 70s to low 80s across our North Bay communities and into the inland East Bay. Down into the Santa Clara Valley, though, those temperatures are only going to be in the mid to upper 70s, 60s directly along the coast, and it's going to stay below average all weekend long. I'll let you know how much much colder it's going to get by tomorrow. Coming up in my full forecast. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Zoe. Coming up after the break, the next Stars of the Ring could be right here in the Bay Area. The event's happening tonight where local boxers can show off their skill. The Bay Area is, of course, a mecca for a lot of sports and recreation. In a moment, Itai Hod will take you to an East Bay park that hosts black-led roller skating events. But first to Lorene Ayub and an event tonight where homegrown professional boxers will make their way into the ring.
Every punch is a step towards a new direction. Boxing coach Danilo Jacob Garcia, who trains youth and pro fighters at the legendary King's Boxing Gym in Oakland, says he has seen a refreshed interest in the sport, particularly in the Bay Area.
The scene is ripe for boxing right now. I think in a few years' time, you're going to hear about all the talent that's being developed right now and that's on the come up, and it's just going to be on the world stage.
And Garcia is not unfamiliar with global stages. As a boxing coach, he served on Team USA during the 2024 Paris Olympics.
I'm a patriot. I served my country in the Army, and then to be able to do it in a boxing sense and representing Team USA internationally was just like, it was such an honor.
An honor he continues to uphold through the fighters of all ages that he coaches. That includes Braulio Ceja Navarro, who will be a featured boxer at the upcoming Straight Outta Oakland Boxing Night. The evening, which will be hosted at the Oakland Marriott, is being put on by G1 Promotions and Lion's Den Promotions. Participating boxer Lorenzo Powell says he's excited to put on a great show.
Every fight I make the crowd fall in love with me, whether I got to get flashy, I got to turn into a dog, go forward, go backwards. I just want everybody in the room to fall in love with me, and come August 16th, they will do that.
The evening also hopes to engage youth through a movement entitled Guns Down, Gloves Up.
For us, it's boxing, keeping them busy, keeping them away from video games and TV and all that kind of stuff, and just something that's more lucrative to their life.
And boxing teaches respect, discipline, all of that. Not every kid's gonna become a world champion in boxing, but they'll become a world champion in life.
Yeah.
They know how to treat other people and how to earn respect and how to give respect and stay out of the streets and become somebody somewhere.
As Lorenzo trains for August 16th, boxer Amari Jones shares news of his Golden Boy signing with Coach Garcia, who says boxing gives youth passion and purpose, just as it once helped him through his own struggles.
I've struggled with things like addiction. 13 years. I'm 13 years sober, and that's something that I don't share too often, but it's just another example of how boxing has saved my life.
A great show for fans and a life-changing experience for fighters.
Black-led roller skating events are spinning up across the country and here in the Bay Area. Itai Hod introduces us to a founder of a popular skating plaza in Oakland.
During the day, this park in West Oakland is like any other. But when Thursday evening rolls in, the court clears, the beats drop, and the whole place kicks into four-wheel drive.
When I put on my skates, all of my troubles melt away.
Tamara Copes is a co-founder of Panther Skate Plaza, a weekly roller jam where wheels glide and fashion flows faster than the footwork.
We're doing so well.
For Michelle McNamee, it's a good way to get her 5-year-old son Journey to stop scrolling and start rolling.
We live in this little apartment and I need to get him outside. I need him to do something, so skating is perfect.
And while the dance moves may be modern, the roots run deep. This is Lil Bobby Hutton Park, named after the first member of the Black Panther Party killed by police at 17.
They called themselves the Black Panther Party.
Once a hub for social movement, this park still brings people together, only now on wheels. Black-led skating events, from casual street parties to organized meetups, are thriving in cities across the country, igniting a full-blown roller revival.
Back in the day, Black people were kept out of a lot of recreational spaces, and that included the roller skating rinks.
So in order to accommodate us in some way, they started to have a soul disco night.
To honor that legacy, these parties are about more than just skating. Each week, a free farmers market sets up beside the rink, run by a nonprofit called God's Resting Place and inspired by the Black Panther's free breakfast program. The skates are free too, but ask Rody Jointer and he'll tell you the real payoff is priceless.
It doesn't matter who we are, what we look like. We just really need to come together and keep doing stuff like this.
Because in a city built on resistance, this weekly gathering puts a new spin on a historic space.
Looks like a fantastic time in Oakland. Coming up after the break, the local author and activist working to preserve the history of the Bay Area's transgender community. In honor of Transgender History Month, a new book is shining a light on the rich history of San Francisco's transgender district. The author traces over a century of trans presence in the Tenderloin. Here's Lauren Toms with the story.
In the heart of San Francisco, Reverend Dr. Megan Rohr unearthed the lineage of transgender history that's long thrived in San Francisco, and in it, a community that felt like home.
Finding people in old-timey photos made me feel a little bit more seen and present today, like I wasn't inventing a new thing for myself.
Today, Megan walks among the world's first legally recognized transgender district that spans parts of Market Street and the Tenderloin.
You see Market Street in the view from the Oddfellows Temple, which is right behind us. And so on these corners is a place where the 1906 earthquake destroyed a lot of stuff, including that vaudeville theater. It paved the way for trans people to kind of move into some of that housing.
The history that can be felt among these blocks echoes for centuries.
There is an old, very exciting history of trans community and joy that spans all the way back to the 1800s.
Megan is now bringing that history to light in a new book with the hope of making trans history accessible and offering a storied family tree to today's trans community.
My goal is that these photos will be so much more accessible for anyone who's looking for them, either at a public library where they check it out or at a local bookstore where they can keep it as their own, but they don't have to travel the country to different archives to find these really historic photos.
But this history doesn't only live in his book. It comes to life through the voices of trans elders, like Miss Billy Cooper, a veteran who lived through San Francisco's underground trans scene and never stopped being unapologetically herself.
But I found out about men from all over the world, all different flavors.
Okay.
And I was there, I had a smorgasbord. Okay. First bar I went into. Back then I had a beard, a mustache, and I used to wear a veil.
For many, these aren't just stories. They're a guiding light. In a time when trans rights are under fire, these stories mark a blueprint for hope and resistance.
There's not a day I leave my house where I don't wonder where I can go to the bathroom, if I can go to the bathroom, and if I will be safe in those spaces. And I wish it was a safer world. And so sharing stories amongst other trans people has been the way to try to stay as safe as possible.
He's hopeful the stories, the lessons in this book and in these streets won't just preserve history, but ensure the next generation won't have to search so far to find themselves.
7:49 on this Saturday morning. Zoe Mintz is here now. And Zoe, you wanted to talk about this beautiful view. And so if I understand it, this is a camera in Tiburon?
Yes, it's in Tiburon and it's facing towards the Golden Gate and towards the coast where you can see a lot of that fog that's sitting over there. But the only reason that we're able to have clouds that look like this is because of the mountains that are along the coast.
Oh,
it's really interesting. It's called orographic lift when the clouds make their way over the mountains. And when I lived in New Mexico, we had clouds like this too. And I like to call them smothered burrito clouds.
Okay.
When they kind of hang really tight to the mountains because it kind of looks like a smothered burrito. I know we don't really smother burritos too much here in California.
Not really.
No, but
I know what it is.
You
It's
know
delicious.
what it is. Yeah, it's delicious. It's when you put cheese on top of a burrito. The clouds is like the cheese and the mountain is like the burrito. I'm getting hungry early this morning, moral of the story. And I hope you all enjoy the cloud coverage and the relatively cooler weather that comes along with it, because early this morning we've seen quite a lot of it that thick, dense cloud that's sitting along our coastal community. It's actually been so dense and so thick that it's brought measurable rainfall from the Santa Cruz Mountains to Half Moon Bay. Pacifica was the big winner with 0.07 inches of rainfall, but even in Glen Park in South San Francisco, 0.05 inches of measurable rainfall early this morning, basically just because we had such thick cloud coverage. The cloud coverage will continue to peel back throughout the later afternoon hours with high temperatures today. Definitely cooler than yesterday, at least for our inland communities that are going to be sitting in the upper 70s to low 80s for this time of year. That's about 5 to 15 degrees below average, especially down into the Santa Clara Valley, where you're only going to be in the mid 70s in San Jose today. Closer to our coastal communities, mid 60s. That's very similar to what we felt yesterday, but it's the cloud coverage and the breezes today that are definitely going to be different. So if you want to enjoy some warmer weather, it's our North Bay communities. Maybe head up to Napa if it's a bit too foggy for you along our coast, because it's the North Bay is the only inland area, Santa Rosa, that's actually going to be a degree above average other than San Francisco. Our inland communities, like I said, about 5 to 15 degrees below normal for this time of year, as those winds are going to be gusting anywhere from 25 to 35 miles an hour all across the Bay Area. Slightly less breezy, maybe down near Redwood City, but it's definitely a hold on to your hats afternoon. By tomorrow, we'll be seeing those temperatures getting even cooler as a frontal boundary will be moving overhead. That's going to cool down even our North Bay and inland East Bay, sitting in the upper 70s to maybe near 80 degrees. And even the coast is going to be a couple of degrees cooler as well, sitting in the mid to lower 60s versus mid to upper 60s like what we're feeling today. So tomorrow is definitely going to be the coolest day of the next several before a bit of a warm up heads our way into next week. So those of you who enjoy warmer weather, get ready, because over the next 6 to 10 days, we are likely going to be seeing a bullseye of high pressure developing over the West Coast, and that is going to allow for the return of above average conditions. So again, it really all depends what you like, but there's a little taste of something for everybody over the next several days, as those temperatures are going to continue again to warm up by next week. So enjoy the quieter and the calmer start to our morning, even though our winds are going to be gusty today. And our cloud coverage early this morning, it's pretty thick, even down into the Santa Clara Valley. But like I said, late morning, early afternoon, the cloud coverage will officially lift, even with those winds gusting anywhere from 25 to 35 miles an hour. It's all because of the onshore winds, the reason that we're going to be cooler today and into tomorrow. By the time that we step out next week, though, we'll be looking at this area of high pressure, bringing us more southerly winds, and then high pressure moving directly overhead. Like I said, the entire western half of the United States looking at above average conditions, but even for us here in the Bay Area, slightly above average, returning to mid to upper 90s, but no extreme heat is in our future, which is really, really great news for this time of year because it's wildfire season. It's normally our driest time of the year. So the longer that we can see below average temperatures and more moisture, the better when it comes to our wildfire season. Coastal communities will be looking at more sunshine, though, with much better beach days on the way into next week. Max, back to you.
Thank you for that, Zoe. Finally this morning, a cable car grip man has been giving rides for 25 years in San Francisco. Like he says, couldn't resist the pull of the profession. Finally this morning, a 25-year ride as an unofficial ambassador of San Francisco and navigator of the city's steep hills. The pull into a unique career that made perfect sense. The sounds are simple, special, and synonymous with a trip to the stars in San Francisco. And for 25 years,
never gets old.
Derek Johnson has had a grip on the magic.
It's making people happy, and it's actually it's one of the best jobs in the world.
Johnson never planned on being a cable car grip person.
I wanted to either be a muni operator or a police officer. We used to come and visit the cable car barn as kids on field trips. Never had an idea, no inclination that I would ever be working here.
But when life pulled him in this direction,
I got lucky.
It was a perfect fit.
And blessed.
Especially for a person proud to call San Francisco home.
It means the world to me because I get to share my city with other people.
Millions of people ride the cable cars every year. It's frequently the first thing tourists do in the city.
You're in front of the world all the time.
So Johnson and his fellow grip persons are unofficial ambassadors for San Francisco.
Where you guys from?
Calgary.
Calgary, Canada, see? And they all have on San Francisco Giants hats.
It's a role he takes a lot of pride in playing.
When I go travel, when I go to other countries or other states, I want people to treat me with good hospitality as well. You know, so when people come here, I understand that. So I want to treat them with the best hospitality I can treat them with.
You could call it white glove service when Johnson's at the grip.
I really enjoy doing it.
But he'll tell you that's the group's standard.
We have a small division with the best of the best.
Connecting people with the core of the city and creating core memories with every push and pull.
To give someone happiness and to make other people smile, it makes you feel good inside as well.
Sounds simple and special. Thanks for watching KPIX News this morning. Don't forget the news continues all day on CBS News Bay Area. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Have a great Saturday.